Let's get weird into it. Number 8. The potato chip ruse. There's a concept in food science called vanishing caloric density. It sounds like something a wizard would mutter before turning you into a newt. But it's actually the dark magic behind why you can eat an entire family-sized bag of potato chips and still feel emotionally, spiritually, and physically empty. Your brain is a simple, primitive machine. When you eat something, it performs a quick, subconscious audit. How much energy did I expend chewing this? And how many calories did I get in return? With something like a steak, the answer is clear. Lots of chewing, lots of protein and fat. The brain logs this as a successful transaction. But a potato chip, it crunches loudly, signaling a substantial food, but then it melts on your tongue into nothing. It's a ghost, a salty, fatty ghost. Your brain gets confused. It registered the crunch, the salt, and the fat, all signals for high-calorie goodness. But the food disappeared before it could properly assess the payload. This vanishing act tricks your brain into thinking you've eaten far less than you have. It's like a pickpocket who distracts you with a bright, flashy object while stealing your wallet. The chip is the flashy object, and your sense of fullness is the wallet. Food scientists have perfected this. They design chips to have the maximum amount of air and the most satisfyingly loud crunch, all while dissolving instantly. So you just keep reaching back into the bag, chasing a satisfaction that will never come, because your brain is stuck in a loop, asking, wait, did we actually eat that? Let's try another one just to be sure. It's not a snack, it's a neurological glitch in a bag. Number 7. Breakfast candy. Let's be honest, you knew this was coming. That box of colorful loops, frosted flakes, or cinnamon-dusted squares isn't breakfast. It's a socially acceptable way to eat dessert at 7 a.m. But the genius of its design goes way beyond just dumping sugar into a box and printing a cartoon toucan on the front. It all starts with the sugar front-loading. The sugar isn't just in the cereal, it's lacquered onto the outside. When you take that first bite, your tongue is immediately carpet-bombed with sweetness. This provides an instant dopamine hit, the brain's little gold star for doing something good. Before you've even fully processed what you're eating, your brain is already screaming, "Yes! More of this!" This is different from, say, a muffin, where the sugar is mixed in. Here, it's a targeted surface-to-tongue delivery system. Then there's the texture. The dynamic contrast between the crunchy cereal and the smooth, cold milk is intensely satisfying. But the true masterstroke is the engineered sog resistance. The cereal is designed to stay crunchy just long enough for you to finish a bowl, but then it transforms into a sweet, chewy slurry that's a completely different, yet still enjoyable, eating experience. The milk left at the end is the grand finale, a sugary, flavored potion that you are biologically compelled to slurp down. Every single part of the experience, from the first crackle to the final gulp of milk, is an engineered sequence designed to make you pour another bowl. It's a breakfast food that literally rewards you for eating it as fast as possible. Number 6. The Carbonated Lie. You reach for a diet soda, feeling virtuous. 0 sugar, 0 calories. You're basically a health guru. You take a sip of that cold, fizzy chemical cocktail and get the sweet taste you crave without any of the guilt. Your brain, however, is deeply, profoundly confused. It's like a dog that heard the treat bag crinkle, saw you reach in, but then you just patted it on the head. Here's the cruel trick. Your tongue tastes the intense sweetness from the aspartame or sucralose and sends an urgent message to the brain. Sugar incoming. Prepare the insulin. Get the dopamine reward system ready. Your body gets all geared up for a massive influx of calories. But then, nothing arrives. The calories never show up. The expected energy payload is a no-show. Your brain doesn't like being lied to. This disconnect between the taste of sweetness and the absence of calories can, over time, mess with your body's ability to regulate itself. Some studies suggest it dulls your response to actual sugar, meaning you might crave even more sweet things to get the same satisfying hit. Furthermore, the brain's reward system feels cheated. It got the signal for pleasure, but not the caloric payoff. So what does it do? It encourages you to seek out that payoff elsewhere. Suddenly, that donut in the break room looks less like a snack and more like a solution to a neurological betrayal. The diet soda didn't satisfy your craving. It just blue-balled your metabolism, leaving it frustrated and looking for a real score. Number 5. Weaponized orange dust. Open a bag of Doritos. Go ahead, I'll wait. Now look at your fingers. They are coated in a fine, magical orange powder. That dust is not just flavoring. It is a scientifically engineered work of art, a masterpiece of snackology designed to make the chip completely irresistible. Food scientists call the perfect combination of salt, sugar, and fat the bliss point. It's the holy grail of processed food. A flavor profile so perfectly balanced that your brain's reward center lights up like a pinball machine. Doritos are a bliss point delivery system. The chip itself is a crunchy, fatty corn vehicle, but the dust is the payload. It's loaded with salt, a little bit of sugar, yes, there's sugar, and savory flavor enhancers like monosodium glutamate, or MSG. MSG gets a bad rap, but what it does is activate our umami taste receptors, the ones that signal savory, meaty deliciousness. When combined with the salt and fat, it creates a flavor symphony that your primitive brain interprets as incredibly nutritious and desirable. Then there's the layering of flavors. You first taste the sharp cheese, then the savory onion and garlic powder, and finally a lingering salty finish that compels you to have another one. It's called long hang time flavor. The taste doesn't just disappear, it evolves in your mouth. And that orange dust on your fingers? That's a feature, not a bug. Licking it off is the final, primal step in the ritual, a way to get one last concentrated hit of the bliss point before reaching for the next chip. They haven't just made a snack, they've created a self-perpetuating flavor loop. Number 4. The golden ratio rods. You'd think a French fry is simple. It's just a potato sliced up and dunked in hot oil. How complicated can that be? The answer is exquisitely complicated. The fast food fry you're picturing right now is the result of millions of dollars of research and development, all aimed at one thing, making you unable to eat just one. It starts with the potato itself. Chains use specific varieties like the Russet Burbank, which have a high starch content. This is crucial for achieving the perfect texture, a crispy golden brown shell that shatters when you bite into it, giving way to a fluffy, steamy interior. This textural 1-2 punch is another form of dynamic contrast, and our brains are absolute suckers for it. The satisfying crunch followed by the soft middle is a sensory delight. But the real secret is in the processing. Before they even get to the restaurant, the potato strips are blanched, dried, and then flash fried. Then they're frozen. This multi-step process is what creates that ideal shell. At the restaurant, they are fried a second time in a carefully calibrated oil blend at a precise temperature. Then comes the salt. Not just any salt, but fine flake salt that adheres perfectly to the surface area of the fry, ensuring you get an immediate, powerful salty hit with every single bite. The fry is essentially an edible stick of fat and carbs, engineered to be the most efficient salt delivery vehicle imaginable. It melts in your mouth, requiring minimal chewing, triggering the same vanishing caloric density trick as the potato chip. It's a precisely engineered food product designed to be eaten by the handful, not the fryful. Number 3. The black and white hypnosis. An Oreo cookie is more than a cookie. It's a ritual. The twist, the lick, the dunk, this is not an accident. This is a carefully constructed interaction that forges a psychological bond with the snack. The ritual aspect makes eating them a more engaging, more memorable, and ultimately more rewarding experience for your brain. You're not just consuming calories. You're performing a familiar, comforting ceremony. But let's talk about the cookie itself. The formula is a devastatingly effective combination of fat and sugar, in a ratio that our brains find almost narcotic. In fact, a 2013 study on rats, and yes, I know we're not rats, but bear with me, found that Oreos activated the brain's pleasure center even more than cocaine or morphine. The researchers theorized it was the specific combination of fat and sugar that our brains are hardwired to seek out above all else. This combo rarely exists in nature, so when we encounter it, our primitive brain goes into overdrive, screaming, "Eat all of this, it might be the last time we find it." The cookie part is a dark, slightly bitter chocolate, which perfectly contrasts with the intensely sweet, fatty, vanilla-flavored creme filling. This contrast keeps your palate from getting bored. The sweetness of the creme is balanced by the bitterness of the wafer, so you never quite hit a point of being sugared out. You can just keep going. The dunking ritual adds another layer, softening the wafer and infusing it with milk, creating yet another texture and flavor profile. It's not just a cookie. It's a multi-stage sensory experience designed to hook you on a chemical, psychological, and procedural level. Number 2. The aromatic Trojan horse. Nothing on this list weaponizes your sense of smell quite like microwave popcorn. The moment you press start, your home is flooded with the intoxicating aroma of hot butter and toasted corn. This isn't just a pleasant side effect. It's a primary feature of the product, and it's deviously effective. That smell is largely thanks to a chemical called diacetyl, along with a cocktail of other artificial butter flavorants. Diacetyl creates that rich, creamy, unmistakably movie theater butter scent. Your olfactory system is directly linked to the parts of your brain that handle memory and emotion, the amygdala and hippocampus. This is why a certain smell can instantly transport you back to your childhood. The scent of microwave popcorn triggers a powerful Pavlovian response. You smell it, and your brain is flooded with positive associations. Movie nights, fun, relaxation, comfort. Your mouth starts watering before you've even seen the popcorn. You are primed to eat it and enjoy it before the bag has even finished inflating. Then you open the bag. A plume of that buttery steam hits you in the face. It's an overwhelming sensory experience. The popcorn itself is light and airy, another example of vanishing caloric density. You can eat fistful after fistful without feeling heavy. The salt and fat trigger your brain's reward centers, and the sheer volume of the snack makes it feel like a limitless indulgence. You just keep going until your hand hits the greasy bottom of the bag. The smell is the Trojan horse that gets the snack past your defenses, and the salty, fatty, airy contents are the soldiers that conquer your self-control. Number 1. The Holy Trinity of Deliciousness. And finally, we arrive at the undisputed heavyweight champion of addictive food design. Pizza. Specifically, the kind of pizza you get from a major chain. This isn't just food, it's the culinary equivalent of a perfect pop song, engineered with hooks so powerful you can't get it out of your head. Pizza is the ultimate expression of the food science trifecta, a perfect storm of refined carbohydrates, fat, and salt. Your brain, which evolved in a world of scarcity, is programmed to lose its mind over this combination. It interprets it as the most energy-dense, life-sustaining meal imaginable. Let's break down the components. The crust is made from refined white flour, which your body processes as sugar, giving you a quick glycemic spike and subsequent crash that leaves you wanting more. The tomato sauce isn't just crushed tomatoes. It's loaded with sugar and salt to balance the acidity and make it intensely savory. The cheese is pure, glorious fat and salt, engineered for the perfect cheese pull and a creamy mouthfeel that coats your tongue. And the processed meat toppings like pepperoni add another layer of fat, salt, and savory umami flavor. Each bite delivers a blast of all the things your brain is biologically programmed to crave. The fat from the cheese and meat, the sugar from the sauce and crust, and the salt that enhances every single flavor. There's no single dominant taste, so your palate doesn't get fatigued. It's a perfectly balanced, endlessly rewarding loop of flavor and texture. Eating pizza doesn't just satisfy hunger. It triggers a cascade of pleasure responses in your brain that other foods can only dream of. It is the peak of food engineering, a culinary masterpiece designed for one purpose: to make you order another one next Friday. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.